All right, so welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast, and I had just got finished seeing Venom. Let me tell you about the movie, Keith.
Like a dumbass.
I'm just going to describe everything.
So fuck the spoilers, it ain't worth this.
Yeah. It starts off with a spaceship. Eventually, the spaceship is trying to go back to Earth, crashes in Malaysia. Kind of reminds me of Rampage. It's almost the same beginning as Rampage.
It has the same opening as Rampage?
Yes. Riz Ahmed's in the command and control center. He's like, well, what happened to the samples? We think one sample escaped. Then the other one are contained on the ship. And then there's a survivor of the crash. So an astronaut survived. 2 EMTs take the astronaut back to a hospital, or at least try to. So that astronaut is infected with a symbiote. One of the EMTs gets infected with the symbiote. And then it goes to San Francisco, showing Eddie Brock and his girlfriend. Everything's great for him. He's an investigative reporter. At some point, he takes on a interview to investigate the space crash. So his girlfriend, her firm works for the Life Foundation. One night when they're together, he checks her laptop and sees that she has some documents detailing some cover-ups from the Life Foundation that they're doing human experiments and killing people, but the Life Foundation is using that as a cover to cure cancer. The interview goes bad. He gets fired from his job, loses his girlfriend, becomes a drunk, all in maybe like 2 minutes.
What the fuck? wait. How bad did the interview go? Did you?
All right, so he's interviewing Riz Ahmed, and it's starting off like, hey, tell us about what the Life Foundation does. Then when did all of the human experiments start? He's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Riz Ahmed cuts the interview short and says, hey, have a nice life. So from that point on, I guess Riz Ahmed ruins his life, gets him fired. His girlfriend leaves him because she knows that he checked her laptop and tried to use that information as a part of the interview. So she's like, I can't trust you. So he goes into another scene in Malaysia where the EMT kills a whole bunch of people. She's infected with the symbiote. The Life Foundation is doing more tests on the symbiote. Well, let's start doing human trials. No scientific reason why. It just goes to a drunk Eddie, and he has a corner store bodega that he likes to go into, and Eddie Brock runs into a homeless person eventually when he's going to that store. This is also set in San Francisco, by the way. But the store gets robbed. Eddie's just like, well, I wish I could have done something about that. It goes to another human trial, and then Riz Ahmed starts talking about stuff in the Bible about Isaac, and I'm like, what in the world? He's taking homeless people off the street. But that's what they're doing, how they're doing human trials. The weird thing is that this one person walks into the room, sees like this swimming vial of something, which is a symbiote. Then starts talking to Riz Ahmed. All right, I understand your biblical story. I'm down with this. They release the symbiote. He's like, what in the world is this? I'm like, dude, you just sat there and looked at it. The whole thing with the symbiote is that it has to find a suitable host. We've heard about all that before. One of the employees of the Life Foundation just disagrees with everything that they're doing, even though she's been working there for a long time. So she reaches out to Eddie. I don't do that anymore. So she just provides a whole bunch of exposition about everything with the movie, everything with the symbiote. So she sneaks him into the building. Nobody knows anything that's going on while Eddie's sitting there taking photos, recognizes a homeless person. So he tries to bring the homeless person out. And that's when he gets infected with the symbiote. The point that he gets the symbiote, it's that whole thing from the trailer where I'm hearing voices in my head and like, why all this stuff happened? But let me explain something to you. So he gets infected with the symbiote. He has to break out of the facility. So he opens like a panel, breaks a window, and sets off an alarm. He's running, busting through walls, busting through trees, jumping up in the air. He's questioning, why is this happening to him? So something must be wrong. Life Foundation tries to do an investigation about how did this happen, eventually links it back to the one worker that led Eddie into the facility. So he gets home. Eddie tries to go find his girlfriend. His girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, is now talking to some dude who just happens to be a doctor. Then he interrupts them having dinner. Hey, I'm sick. I don't know what's going on with me. The guy's like, oh, let me go check you out. The symbiote starts going crazy, which is another scene from the trailer. In the examination room, he starts going crazy because the symbiote is affected by sound. He goes back home, still thinking nothing's wrong with him, even though he's hearing voices in his head. He's doing stuff that he had never done before, but it's just like, why am I doing all this? I don't understand. Oh, I'm Venom.
Did he start calling himself Venom immediately, or?
I believe so.
Oh my God.
So this is Venom voice talking to Eddie. So there's a lot of that. And eventually the Life Foundation shows up at his house. Another scene from the trailer where he's just beating up some random guys. It's just a big chase scene. Everything with this movie is kind of formulaic. The love triangle, you have the car chase, you have random faceless police officers trying to stop the good guy. So it sets up Venom to be an anti-hero. Venom is supposed to be an enemy of Spider-Man. He is the antithesis of Spider-Man.
Correct.
But for some reason, this movie decides to take that he is here to save humanity.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
It's a little bit of the most recent Predator, Ghost Rider. Think about that tone of a movie.
Yeah.
All this movie was the mask, the Jim Carrey mask, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with a vampire movie.
Oh my God.
And then you have Venom.
I mean, the whole point for him calling himself Venom was because he was poisoning the Spider-Man himself. And he and Eddie Brock, the reason they bonded was because they both hated him. Oh my God, this is terrible.
Again, Venom is here to save Earth from being colonized by more symbiotes. Because Riot, who is another symbiote, is the leader of the group trying to take over Earth.
Oh my God.
The acting in the movie is just comical. So again, it's just totally all over the place. And then you have Michelle Williams' character that's in the movie, and they give her nothing to do. She's just there just to eat up screen time for Eddie Brock to have a love interest or something that he's fighting for. And she's just wasted. They don't give her anything to do. The arc of the movie is just weird as well, because it does take a while before he becomes Venom. Whatever way you look at it, could be okay, could not be. When he becomes Venom, and he has done like all this weird stuff, hand turns into whatever, and he's still questioning what is happening to me. I'm sick. I have a parasite. Dude, some unnatural unholiness happened. For some reason, you're questioning all that. I don't know who this movie was made for. I understand Venom has already appeared in the movie. This one does not redeem Spider-Man 3 at all. It is not possible.
So the Venom in Spider-Man 3 is still worse representation?
Yes. Spider-Man 3 is some hot garbage. Other things for you. So the movie just kind of ends on a rocket, Venom destroying Riz Ahmed, a.k.a. Riot, because somehow fire and sound are the only two things that can kill a symbiote. The way that the movie ends, it makes it seem like somehow the symbiote is dead. The movie ends on him trying to talk to his ex-girlfriend, who's still technically seeing the doctor, and she thinks that he's cured of the symbiote. Hey, I'm normal again, even the way that he's speaking, because he does that Tommy Conlon speak. Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and mumble, I don't understand. And then he starts speaking normally again. But then he's playing it off, hey, don't tell her what's going on. I have the devil and an angel on my shoulder type thing. If you've seen the movie Upgrade that came out earlier this year, that a character is bonded with an AI that starts taking over his body, this is almost somewhat of a setup for a Venom. Then he gets this call about he has this interview and he has to go to San Quentin. So as soon as you go to San Quentin, you know where this is going. He has to be somebody named Red. The person starts talking to him like this is Silence of the Lambs. But it turns out to be Woody Harrelson behind bars, talking to him about when I get out of here, it's going to be carnage.
So where did Harrelson come from?
This is the after credit scene. So it's like movie ends, you get this stupid Eminem song called Venom, num 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 num. What the heck, Eminem? You've completely fallen off. You are no longer the upper echelon of hip hop. Please stop. The after credit scene with Carnage. Stan Lee also does appear in the movie. So at the very end of the movie, when Eddie's talking to himself, he bumps into a guy and it turns out to be Stan Lee.
Wait, Stan Lee's in it? Oh, for fuck's sake, dude.
Yeah. And people complaining about Lady Gaga fans are trying to ruin this movie.
Lady Gaga fans are ruining the movie?
There was a controversy about the early reviews of this movie. People that are Lady Gaga fans that want A Star Is Born to be number one this weekend were intentionally going on social media or writing comments about how bad this movie is. That it's not as bad as you think it is, but the movie's bad. I have said it's bad. It is bad. And did you not see Spider-Man Homecoming? Have you not seen any of the other Marvel movies? As Mike would say, Marvel just gets it done. Gets it right. And then you have this.
It's the most unnecessary shit I've ever heard. I understand that they want to cash in as much as possible, but this shit is a hot fucking mess.
So you heard all that stuff about maybe like the Sinister Six movie or...
When the Amazing Spider-Man movies were coming out.
I still think that may or may not come out, but they were also talking about doing a Black Cat movie or it was like Black Cat and somebody else. I have no hope for any other Sony-led comic book movies. They brought you Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. They brought you, yes, they brought you Ghost Rider. And now Ghost Rider is done right on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they couldn't do anything with the license. But somehow, some way, Marvel has not wooed Sony enough to say, hey, well, why don't you make a Venom movie for us? And instead, what you get is like this mishmash of stuff that would have appeared in other superhero movies over the past couple of years. I like Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's great in a lot of movies, but this one is not for him. And Riz Ahmed, oddly enough, looked like Jake Gyllenhaal to me in this movie.
That's fucked up.
So I kept thinking about Nightcrawler. Yeah. So question is, Keith.
Okay, how was the CG?
Not good for Venom. Not good for when the symbiote is disembodied. Not good when Venom is fighting people. I think there was like one fight scene that you can probably find on the internet that he's fighting some police officers, some faceless dudes.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was kind of okay, but that does not redeem the rest of the movie, that this movie is just really a romantic superhero comedy.
Was it even funny?
No. Not even the Venom voice sounded okay. And I'm not saying it's completely trash. It's cinematically looks okay, but there's a lot of J.J. Abrams style lens flares.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
Like anamorphic flares. I'm like, oh no, please, please. As somebody that does video, anamorphic flares were a very stylish choice a couple years ago, but you should not do those now. Post 2010, don't do any lens flares. I can't even say that someone gives a good performance. I mean, Riz Ahmed is just comically the evil guy. Might as well went to go see A Star Is Born. It's directed by Ruben Fleischer, so he did Zombieland. That's kind of where the Woody Harrelson thing comes into play, too. Still making 2 more of these movies. Unless somebody comes to their senses.
Oh, my God.
And sees the box office this weekend. And says, you know what? This is probably a bad idea. What did we do? Why did we make this mistake?
Barry, how would you rate this in comparison to Suicide Squad?
Know how much I dislike both of those movies. But I will say maybe tonally, they are the same.
Tonally?
Suicide Squad just went wrong from the first scene, and it tried to be funny, but was not. Tried to be a superhero movie, but was not. That is this movie. So I would probably say maybe might give a 0.5 more to Venom. So I think we gave Suicide Squad a 3-ish.
That shit got a 3, and it actually should get like a 2.
I'm going to give Venom a 3.5.
Suicide Squad, at least I was hyped for this shit.
Even if you disagree with me, Keith, we disagree about a lot of things. Even if you just disagree with me, like, hey, that movie can't be that bad. I would just say the tone of the movie is what ruins it.
You know, the movie looked like shit when I first saw it. I had zero hope for that fucking film.
I had hope because Tom Hardy was in it. And he does make bad movies. He was in some movie with Chris Pine. What the heck was that movie?
Yeah, the
This
one where there
Means
were
War.
2 CIA agents.
Yeah.
Where they have Reese Witherspoon in it and shit.
Yeah, he was also in the worst Star Trek movie.
Oh, Nemesis, my God.
He was Shinzon, a.k.a.
You know what? He was good in it. He was good. The movie was terrible. But
I would challenge you to go rewatch Star Trek Nemesis. Never
I
saw the
will-
sun shining so bright. Never saw the sun.
He was decent because he was emulating Patrick Stewart.
Blue skies shining at me.
He wasn't singing that, was he?
Talk about Data. This worse than Green Lantern? No.
Oh, so Green Lantern is still worse in this movie? Okay, that would be...
Yeah.
Yeah, but Green Lantern was watchable in a certain respect.
I would say that the DC movies are better than this. But
oh my god!
Again, totally think Justice League.
So is it better than Justice League?
I think I would enjoy watching Justice League more than this movie. I forgot what I gave Justice League, but I think I would. X-Men Apocalypse? Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, not X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah, so the whole thing just kind of leads up to, I'm Venom, and I want to talk like this. So there's even a point in the movie where he goes back to that same store, and the guy that comes in to rob the store comes back. He's shaking the store owner down for money, protection money. He's in there with the symbiote, full symbiote, eats the guy. The store owner's just like, what happened? Like, what's wrong with you? It's like, well, I just have a parasite.
And that's it. Like, get the fuck out of here.
So no screaming, no what the heck is going on.
Like, the whole point of Venom kills Spider-Man.
Yes. He hated Spider-Man, hated Peter Parker, was jealous of him. Eddie Brock also hated Peter Parker. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Well, see, here's the thing is that, like, at least the Sam Raimi movie got the origin right. Well, at least to a point. Well, no, he got the right origin right.
Yeah. We disagree about a lot of things. Just in general. Just movies, life. I would just say that everything I'm saying about this movie is 100% true. It's not embellished. It's just, I paid money for something. This was not a good movie. There's no way to save this movie, and you may still get 2 more of these because the end credit scene is Carnage. So at this point, since Venom is now an anti-hero, he's going to stop Carnage.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I highly doubt that I would find this movie enjoyable. I knew it was going to be shit.
Thor: The Dark World is better than this.
Thor: The Dark World was a good movie.
Iron Man 2 is better than this. Iron Man 3 is better than this. Tonally is still the same as Iron Man 3. Blade Trinity, yeah, it's probably better than Blade Trinity.
Blade Trinity? Oh, you went back. Oh my god. I had zero hopes for this movie, huh?
The script is bad. The writing is bad. Some of the acting is, it's all right. But overall, this is not a good movie. I don't know why I went to go see it. I'm trying to think about the other symbiotes in the Spider-Man universe.
There's a ton of them, actually. They've been systematically writing Spider-Man out of Venom's story. They made it now. The symbiotes have a god, and the things that created the symbiotes is as powerful as the Celestials. It's like some weird cosmic shit.
What?
The mythos behind the symbiotes. The thing that created them, there was a creature there first. I forget what the guy's name. Kroll, Korb, Kabuki, whatever the fuck his name was. Cthulhu. He made a weapon, a living weapon, vampiric weapon, sword, that would be able to kill a Celestial. And essentially, that was the first symbiote. Remembers the heat of the forge when it was made and the sound of the hammer when it was being beaten. So that's why symbiotes are susceptible to sound and fire. This god dude getting defeated. Symbiotes have a whole planet of them, and it's batshit crazy on multiple levels. And the character of Venom was great at the antithesis of Spider-Man. Bonded to a person who hated Peter Parker and with a suit that hated Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and the two of them bonded and became more than what they were. And he evolved into his own character. That's fine. But they just been separating them all together. Now this movie comes out. The whole look of Venom and all the other symbiotes are based off of Spider-Man's costume.
Yeah, so there isn't any spider on his costume. It's just he's black with the shapely eyes, and then Riot is gray with the same type of eyes. Slightly different voice.
Venom's eyes were based off of Spider-Man's costume. Just ridiculous.
I don't even like the style that they chose for how Venom looks, because he looks very plasticky, which me either or. I would probably say maybe Spider-Man 3 Venom looked okay.
Hey, he looked like Spider-Man.
There's not any redeeming quality about this movie other than you got another superhero movie. And when I give zeros, I have an emotional connection to that movie that it repulsed me, and I have to give it a 0. This one was just like, it's not a good time at the theater. Definitely don't pay full price for it. More than $8 for this movie, something is wrong with you. And something was wrong with me. That's Beast Game Park.